Welcome to the Statesman Talk. I'm your host, Anna Chaudhary, and we have with us here a very special guest. He is the CEO of Zoomcar, and I'd love to welcome Mr. Hiroshi Nishijima.
Thank you for providing us an opportunity to speak at the podcast.
Thank you for taking the time out to connect with us. Okay, so Hiroshi, I'd like to ask you, could you please tell us about the Zoomcar story? Where did it start? How did it actually begin?
Sure. Zoomcar is a 12 years old company. And we started the business as asset-heavy rental car company. So we actually own thousands of cars on our balance sheet. And then as a rental car company, we rented out the cars to customers. So that's where we started the business. However, that business model has a limitation on scalability. Mm-hmm. So we decide at one point of time, it's right after the COVID, we made a bold decision to sell all the cars and move to the marketplace model. Okay. So in the marketplace model, on one hand side, we have hosts. It's like an Airbnb for rental car. Mm-hmm. So we have hosts who own vehicles and who put the vehicles on our marketplace. And then on the other hand, we have guests who access to the cars and get the car and rent out the car from host. So it's a peer-to-peer car sharing marketplace. Okay. So that's how we evolve. And now we have more than 20,000, so 25,000 cars on our platform. Mm-hmm. And then we have more than 30,000 transactions every month.
Wow, that's a huge number. What were the numbers like when you began? What was the traction at that point of time? And
yeah, so basically, of course, when we started the marketplace business, and actually we started from zero, it's from scratch. And then we build the number of supply, and we set the right expectation to host, and then what host needs to do and what Zoomcar needs to do to support their business. And then we actually built the trust, and then we grew. So it's a long journey. So it's almost like a 2.5 years journey. But we believe that now is getting better and better. And then host, and we have a good relationship, and then providing the good car sharing service to our guests.
Okay. And what was the response like in the first year, or the first 6 months, if you'd like to talk about it?
Yeah, first 6 months. Oh, yeah. Actually, it's a very good question. So. On the positive side, we gained traction from host, and we had much more. So let's say on the positive side, unlike the Zoomcar 1.0, whereby we have asset-heavy rental car business model, we needed to park the car. Of course, we had a microsites in. So for instance, in Bangalore alone, we had 30, 40 microsites. Scattered across the cities, but guests needs to travel to the site to rent out the car. On the very positive side of the marketplace business model is car can be parked next to your house. So this is a highly decentralized and distributed model. So that's a very positive one. When we started seeing that positive impact right from the beginning. Okay. On the other hand, the big challenge we had is setting the right expectation to host and guest, because there is a good level of confusion that car is provided from Zoomcar versus car is provided from host. And then when guest actually went to the location, oh, where is the car? I don't see any car with Zoomcar sticker, Zoomcar logo. So then from host point of view, no, I'm not sharing the car to guest. I'm sharing the car to Zoomcar. Everything you take care of everything. Zoomcar, it's your responsibility. You take care of everything. So I'm just putting the car to you. So that's the starting point. So we need to communicate to both sides, and then it's a peer-to-peer car sharing business. And then host needs to do A, B, C, D, E, and then guest is directly getting the car from host. And the key elements to make this happen is the rating and reviews.
Okay. Could you please tell me that? That sounds
sure.
Because
sure.
If you look at it, then we as users, are not really aware. We don't know if our feedback is actually taken seriously or not, and how much importance there's actually put to our ratings. So it would be interesting
Yeah,
to find out how
sure,
important.
sure, sure. Yeah, so two parts to it. First, we need to get as many feedback as possible from guests.
Mhm.
And two, we have to reflect that in the system where highly rated hosts are able to earn more than other hosts. So two things are equally important.
Mhm.
So when we started the business, actually only around 20 to 30% of guests rated host,
Okay.
because you also know from for many other like app, usually the behavior is to skip. I
Absolutely.
don't know, right. So getting as many ratings as possible is the one challenge. We have evolved our business and service and user experience for a long time now. We are getting approximately 80% of bookings is rated, of which 90% are more than 5 star.
Mhm.
And all the 5 star booking, more than half of them have reviews.
Mhm.
And some reviews are more than 1,000 words, some reviews are more than 500 words. So it's quite many. And of course, some reviews are just good or just some up. But getting the reviews and written.
I'm going to interrupt you here. That's actually a very big feat if you think about it. The fact that you're getting so many reviews, and because typically that's not what a user does. People don't respond that much. Are you doing something to specially get those reviews and get that kind of feedback?
Yeah, it's actually so we didn't do yes, we did many like a nudging and sending messages multiple times and can you review that, but there's no monetary incentive to that. It's best just around user experience from app, uh, and then actually educate hosts to communicate to guests to provide the reviews and ratings, because the data clearly shows if a host has more than 10 positive reviews, their probability of getting higher bookings is much higher. That's the key things, and we constantly tell the facts to host: getting reviews, getting reviews, then you earn more.
Mhm.
So we'll move. That's a good segue to the second point. So yeah, when guests make a search, okay, so I need a car from this date to this date at this location. We show a list, and sometimes the list can be 100 cars, even 600 cars.
Mhm.
And then how we rank the inventories is the key. So this is based on ratings and reviews, and also the guest behavior in the past. If guest has a clear preference on quality, we show high quality cars in sacrifice of pricing, in sacrifice of distance. But if guests show the very clear preference of pricing, of course we show based on the pricing. But even if the price range is similar, we show based on the algorithm, we show high quality cars. So then the high quality host always prioritize, because we know guest also prefers the high quality things. And then when guests assess the quality, it's basically based on rating number, but the quality of review matters a lot, because relatively our booking is a bit expensive. I would say it's not a cheap thing. So average basket size is approximately 5,000 rupee. So when guests make a decision on 5,000 rupee, it's not a flash instant decision, right? It's back and forth. Okay, I check this car, read the review, go back, find another car, read the review, back and forth, and making spend good amount of time. And some, on average, it takes approximately a few days to make a decision. So therefore, review matters a lot.
Okay. Hiroshi, I'd like to ask you, what is your expected rate of growth for India in the next 2, 3 years and also globally?
Hmm. Good point. we would like to grow as much as possible, but please do understand that as a Nasdaq listed company, showing the indication, we please wait for the earnings press release and showing the earnings guidance.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So could you talk about your expansion plans from an India-centric view as well as on a global perspective?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. So India is very, very big. I don't need to explain that. So taking a massive step back, the problem we are solving is access to mobility. So in India, only one car in 10 households, while in the US, it's two cars in one household.
Mhm.
It's a massive difference. And then in the US, people see cars as a tool to take me from point A to point B. It's just a tool. But in India, a car means a lot. Some people feel very emotional. It's emotionally attached, and the joy of drive is there, and the aspiration is there. So car means a lot. While car is not accessible to many people, and then at the same time, the digital transaction is highly, highly penetrated in India. So then it makes a lot of sense to really, really focus on solving this accessibility problem in India. It's a big problem, and then there are many guests and hosts who wants to solve it. From host point of view, the challenge is, yes, now I have access to the car, I own a vehicle, but the cost of ownership is high. If I can monetize unutilized time, it helps me a lot. And then from guest point of view, I can't afford car, but I want to have very special experience for the upcoming Christmas holiday with my friends and family. So we are matching this. It's a huge problem in India. So we will laser focus on solving this problem in India. Probably we can be 10x or 100x just staying in India. It's a big problem. However, depending on the availability of funding and opportunity, so we assess from time to time, and if there is an opportunity, we will go outside. So India, the problem in India is complicated enough. If we can solve the problem in India very well, we can solve the problem in any other countries by focusing on developing countries.
That's an interesting take. So, Hiroshi, could you talk about the challenges, the primary challenges that you're facing in this space currently?
Yeah, actually, it's a good question. So, India market it's all about supply. We need more hosts. Like as many as possible. So, you as a guest, if you want to make a booking, if the nearest car with, let's say, 4.9 star rating is 5 kilometers away, you might think about it like, okay, should I book it? Should I book it or not? But if the car is just next to your house, it's a totally different decision-making process. Okay, it's next to the car, like next to my house. Okay, so why don't I book it now? So the density matters a lot. So we want to have much, 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 much higher density. So maybe as a quick milestone, we would like to have 3 to 5 times higher density than what we have today. And then the world from guest will be totally different.
Okay. And are there any particular steps that you're taking in terms of strategy to actually ensure this?
Yeah, it's there's no silver bullet. We just need to focus on solving the customers' challenges and customer problem from host point of view. I actually visited Goa last week and met like 30, 40 hosts, provide a vehicle, a bunch of positive feedback and bunch of like feedback which we need to solve quickly. And also on Saturday, we met like a host, a very high earning host in Bangalore. So he actually came to our office and standing in front of the whiteboard, listed down all the things which he thinks we need to improve. And then actually we distributed it to the entire team, engineering team and operation team and legal team, policy team to take the action. So it's all about listening to the customers and execution, and then keep iterating it.
All right. And Hiroshi, could you talk about how the Indian user's needs and requirements differ from your typical international user when it comes to rental car space? And are there any such like noted key differences that you've observed?
Yes. So to my earlier point, car means a lot. So car is second most important asset for everyone. So home is most important and car is second most important. And it's not just a tool. It is like emotionally attached, right? So then Zoomcar is asking host to put that extremely important asset into our platform. And then of course, we verify guest, and then we send the guest to the car for the transaction. So we really need high trust from hosts.
All right.
Yeah, that's the key difference compared to other countries.
Okay, interesting. And also, are there any new upcoming products or features or any partnerships on the horizon?
Yes. Yeah. So on the host side, it's basically us keep improving our customer experience. We recently introduced a new host pricing feature. So basically, Zoomcar has a 12 years history of pricing. So then this car sharing is a seasonality business. So Christmas is the peak holiday, but then in winter, the demand is relatively low. So based on the demand, we adjust the price. And then we recommend the price to host. And then whether host follows the price or host wants to adjust the price, it's up to host. We recently improved the user experience for this. So then it becomes very easy for host to adjust the price. So that increases the retention of host quite significantly. So that's on the host side. The guest side is keep introducing the new product. We recently launched the new product called Zoomcar Subscription. It is a more than 1 week booking.
All right.
Yeah, and then we are adding more and more. We will announce something next week. So please wait. Looking forward to that.
All right, sure. And do you want to talk a little about the business model and the strategy for India specifically?
Yeah. So again, the most important thing is customer experience. So if your customer experience is not great, you need to discount, and then you need to give incentives to host, and then we need to keep discounting on the guest side because customer experience is not great. So therefore, our focus is customer experience on both sides. So then we don't need to discount so much, and the profitability goes up. And then if host retention goes up, more and more hosts are coming just by word of mouth. No need to put any marketing. And then density goes up, it becomes much more convenient for guests. So then the booking conversion for guests goes up. So that's the cycle. Flywheel. That is a core element of our business model. And then we actually start seeing a good improvement. So just to give you a couple of examples, 7 months ago, our booking level profitability was actually negative. Every single booking, we were losing money. Okay. But yeah, today our booking level profitability is more than 1,000 rupee. Wow. So every single booking we are making more than 1,000 rupee. And then without marketing, we have more and more hosts, more and more cars every week. So that's it's not a clear like a business school kind of business model, but we strongly believe this is the most important thing.
Okay. No, that's interesting because normally in the aggregator space, businesses tend to lose money rather than actually make money. So that's a huge win. I mean, many congratulations for that.
Yeah. So it's again, like just focus on customer experience. So when we started the business, marketplace business, 2.5 years ago, aggregator business, we had huge, like more than 10x or even 20 times larger customer support team, because we had so many calls and so many emails because of the customer experience. But now it is improved, so we don't need to have so many things. So that's why we keep investing in the new channels. So we used to have only ticket in text, but now we have inbound calls system, because now we can afford that.
Okay, interesting. And are you guys using AI for it as well? Are you including AI and utilize?
Yeah.
How do you see
Yes.
it forward? How active would actually the role of AI be?
Yeah, so role of AI becomes more and more important and more, I would say, like a distributed. So there are many applications. I'll give you some examples. One is pricing. To my earlier point, we have cumulative like a data in the like historical data of the last 12 years. So we know the seasonality. We know in which location supply is enough, booking is more. So based on the demand supply balance and then the seasonality for the future, we change the price dynamically in a dynamic way. So that's one area we use AI. The second area is if you can open Zoomcar app, we show a unique inventory. So each car is unique, and then each car has like a few images. Someone's from the front, and then interior, exterior, from rear view, side view, etc. So when host upload those images, our AI detects some of the, like, let's say some garbages in the background. So we recommend to remove that. And then if the lighting is not enough in a crowd day, so we also recommend that it's actually your conversion gets better if you take image in the sunny day. So we clearly recommend that in that way. So that's another application. The one big thing we have recently invested is the Q&A, like a Gen AI chatbot for host. So before host joins, they have so many questions. So conceptually, I understand I can monetize my unutilized time. That is great, but there are so many questions. Can I really trust that how it works? If guest is not coming, do I need to pass the key? Do I need to call him? What happens if a car got into accident? How does it work? So there are so many questions, but those questions are basically standardized questions. So they can type any question. The bot returns the question from policy. So that's a first step. So the next step would be seamlessly integrate the bot-based Q&A into the human-based call or human-based agent. So that's another step.
And Hiroshi, how do you balance your supply and demand on the platform to ensure like that you have vehicles while also maintaining a viable business model for your customers?
Sure. In India, it is relatively easy. So there's always demand because people want access to mobility service. We have limited supply. So basically, I don't need to think about the complicated like a demand supply balancing. We just keep adding more and more supply.
Okay. All right. And what measures does Zoomcar take to ensure vehicle quality, safety, and maintenance?
Yeah. So actually, that's also a good point. So end of the day, so rating is the ratings and reviews from our guests is reflected into the ratings. So that's the most important one. But we are exploring something more in a bit more proactive way. So whereby we partner with a third party, and then periodically, let's say once in a quarter, host needs to get the regular checkup. And then once that is there, we put a certification in the app. So that's an idea we are exploring.
Okay, that's interesting. And how do you see the sharing economy impacting traditional ownerships that India has in terms of cars? So basically, to rephrase it, that how do you think that the traditional ownership of car models would be impacted? in the Indian space?
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. I don't have any like a macro statistical view on that, but from my point of view, it's like both coexist
Okay.
in especially in India. In the countries like Japan, US, it's probably different because in those countries, every household has a vehicle. And then growth of sharing economy means it's a reduction of vehicle ownership and then shift to car sharing. But for us, it's totally different. Only 1 in 10 household owns the car, right? And then there are many other people who aspire to own vehicles, and then both needs to grow. So that's why new car sales in India, in my understanding, it's growing quite rapidly, and at the same time, car sharing is growing rapidly. So it's both coexist because of the huge population in the market we have in India.
Combination.
Yeah, but an interesting thing, I think actually it's a very interesting point. So the interesting thing is the people, the young generation, let's say 20 to 30 years old, living in major metro cities. We clearly see a trend that okay, my father's generation aspires to own vehicles, work for the asset for the future, but now I have less aspiration on that. I would love to spend more towards today's life. So we clearly see that trend. So it's a interesting thing phenomena that like both user preference coexist.
Amazing. Okay. All right. And what are your thoughts on the government's role in regulating the car sharing industry?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. So basically, we have follow the government regulation, and then the car sharing is positioned as a leasing, and then we recently published our white paper that how car sharing supports Indian economy and in India landscape. So we continuously follow the regulation, and we continuously discuss with the regulators proactively. So I think that's our policy to that.
Okay. And do you think the government can do anything more to sort of streamline and help the industry grow, which would in turn be helpful to the customer, the business, as well as the economy overall?
Yeah, it's not only for car sharing. I think one area government can really strongly push is electric vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah, so we put some electric vehicles on our platform in the past as a pilot basis. But as per to my earlier point, most of our customers use Zoomcar for tourism. So book in the central of Bangalore and travel to Mysore. But when they travel to outskirts or tourism location, it's hard to find charging station infrastructure. Then one station in one town and there is a 5 hour queue, but their price is basically the rental car sharing price is based per hour. So they need to invest more that time for waiting for the car battery charging. So that is one area we want the government to definitely invest. So if that happens, EV can be used for tourism perspective use case, not only in the in-city use case.
Okay, interesting. And Hiroshi, can you discuss the impact of COVID-19 on the car sharing market and how Zoomcar particularly has adapted?
Okay, it's almost 3-4 years ago. So I think there was one element that during that time, privacy gets more important. So the car sharing, rental car in the context of India, historically means car comes with a chauffeur, driver. But during the time, so there is a perception that, okay, I understand, but I want to just travel with my friend and with my family within the trusted circle. So that actually helped to grow the self-drive business.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one impact we had in COVID.
Okay, interesting. And Hiroshi, how do you think that the rise of the electric vehicles will influence the car sharing market? Since you've
Yeah. That's a very good point. So, as per my point, infrastructure in outskirts and tourism destination, that's the very, very important element to grow electric vehicle adoption in the car sharing space. But on the other hand, we recently launched the product called Zoomcar subscription. It is like a 1 month, 2 month use case. And in that use case, it's basically I lived in Bangalore, but I found a new job in New Delhi. So the whole family decided to move to New Delhi. I moved earlier, and the family will come in 2 months. So family needs a car in Bangalore, but I also need a car in New Delhi. So that's the use case of this Zoomcar subscription product. That is basically an in-city use case. It fits to electric vehicle. So EV will work in this subscription product, but in order to grow EV further, the charging infrastructure in tourism destination is a very much important thing.
all right. Okay. And what are some global trends or innovations that you're keeping your eye on, and how might they influence Zoomcar strategy?
Yeah, thank you so much. One thing is the search experience or Gen AI adoption in the search experience. So you need to find the best car from thousand cars. Thousand cars available for you. What is the best for you? Rating is one thing. Distance, price, reviews. But it takes time to find out the best inventory. So today, you enter the date and location, and we show the list. You click one by one to check that. In the future, this will be probably changing. Just to give you an example, so my son and my daughter, when they use Google and search something, the way they search is totally different from how I search. So I usually find out, like, think about what I need, and I set some like keywords, and then the type keywords. If it doesn't lead to the right answer, I change the keyword and back and forth. But how they do is they directly type the questions as sentence and then find out an answer. So I think the search experience will going towards that way. Hey, I'm planning to go to Mysore with my family in the upcoming Christmas holiday. It's actually around 2 to 3 days. It's not yet decided. The price is not the big issue, but we need a spacious, very clean 7-seater SUVs. Can you recommend the best one? So then we recommend based on their past behavior, what is available, host response, etc., all the transactional histories on our platform, and then we show that rather than showing the list and let them check one by one. So that will be a big trend, and it can be voice, it can be text. Yeah, that's what we see, and we will start exploring that in 2025. Yeah.
Also very interesting because so that means that the Gen Z and the millennials are actually driving the trends forward. So say the boomers and everyone else has a different way of typing in their questions itself. The requests are different.
Yeah. That those two will coexist in my view, because Gen AI needs to be getting smarter and smarter. It's not yet perfect. So then both will coexist, and based on the preference, can choose which one is better. Yeah, because it's relatively like 5,000 rupee per transaction. It's a big decision. So on one hand, we need more information, but on the other hand, if we have too much information, it's overwhelming. So we need someone who is smart as a mediator and curates the information and give me the best recommendation so that my decision making becomes easier. Because decision to pick the right car, it's just the beginning of my vacation, right? So the main experience for my vacation should be fun, and then go to see the beautiful things and spend and enjoyable time with my family. So it's just a beginning. So I just want to make it as easy as possible. And yeah, so the new way of search will be a big one.
All right. Interesting. So, Mr. Hiroshi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And there's a lot that we actually have to learn from this. And wishing you the best forward for Zoomcar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
If you like this episode, then please like and subscribe. Thank you.